Hello and welcome back to the Find Your Feet podcast, a podcast show dedicated to helping you get closer to your true, authentic self by helping you find your feet in life.
Welcome back, everybody. We're finally in the new setup with the microphones working properly.
Yay! We've been through hell and back.
Literally have.
Trying to figure out how to work these crazy ass microphones. My gosh. But we got there in the end.
Yeah, it feels so good to just have like our own microphones now in the new studio. You guys would have probably seen on Instagram. I'm going to post some pictures. It's all very exciting.
Yes, come follow us on Instagram at Finding Your Feet Podcast if you don't already, to see the pictures of the full studio, because it's all done now and it looks absolutely unreal. And we're so proud.
We're literally so proud. When we finished it the other day, like I was literally emotional.
Yeah, like proud podcast moms.
Yeah, the nursery's finished.
But today we're coming at you with a really amazing episode. We're really excited about this one. We're talking all about goals, and I just feel like there's such a good energy about right now. Like it's September and it's like it just switches September and suddenly everyone was like, right, 3 months left of the year. How am I going to finish the year off? How am I going to smash my goals that I set for 2021? New energy, you know, summer is over, new self-development school term. Everyone's getting ready to get the head back down. So we are bringing you the most motivating, inspiring, practical episode, all about goals. You need to put your seatbelt in because by the time this episode finishes, you are going to be rocket launching it to the moon. You're going to be that motivated.
Yeah, literally. I feel like at the moment, everyone needs that little bit of a motivational push, and that's exactly what we're going to give you. Like, you're literally going to feel so motivated. And exactly, there's like 3 months left of the year, and it's been an odd year, like last year. We've had a few odd years now. I feel like people haven't really known if they're coming or going, but I feel like it's just at that point in the year where it's like, well, where do I want to be in the next few months? What do I want to achieve the last bit of 2021?
Yeah, 100%. I think that this year has been, I think we all thought like, 2021 is going to be so much better. And I mean, it has been a good year, but and obviously it's better than last year. But
it's gone so quick.
Yeah, it's gone so fast. It's really quite alarming. But yeah, I feel like so many people do feel like they don't know whether they're coming or going, and that's making it hard for them to commit to goals and like like make decisions and show up for things. But I just think like we don't know when this is all going to disappear, and you just need to make use with what you have. Like, we cannot wait for COVID to go before we start living, before we start smashing our goals. We need to just do it anyway. Like, just make the most with whatever you've got right now. Just start where you are, because things are changing all the time, so you just never know.
No, it's so true. That's why we're going to give you that push that you need. You're going to be smashing all those goals.
And we have been getting our heads down, smashing our goals recently, and setting loads of new goals. We're like absolutely buzzing about our goals. We're goals obsessed. We're just like talking about goals all the time. No, we are. We've been like...
We actually are.
We are. But we've just completed like one of our big goals, which is obviously do the studio. And like now we're sat back and we're like, wow, proud, love that. Let's smash some more. So, yeah.
Yeah, literally what were we saying yesterday? We was like, I just can't cope with us. We're just like productivity queens.
Yeah, we've just been getting our heads down so much. Like,
and we put in the work to actually like create a routine.
Yes.
So that's why we want to share it with you, because we've actually put in the work to create it, and you can do that too and get the most out of it.
Yeah, we've been like hustling away, like learning about procrastination, all this stuff, and so that we can manage ourselves better. And we've we've finessed it. We're like on fire right now with our like work levels, so
yeah, we are.
Long may it continue. But we're going to start off with we're going to share all that information with you guys, but we're just going to start off talking about purpose, because purpose is something that everybody needs. Like, we all need purpose, and I think that so many people have like huge pressure on themselves to figure out what their purpose is. But what is good about goals is that it doesn't matter what it is. It could literally just be like 10k steps a day. That's your goal, that's your purpose. It doesn't need to be like your purpose. You don't need to figure it out like right now. Like, that it is hard to figure out your purpose. Like, it comes with, you've got to like try different things. Like, it comes with time. But having a sense of purpose for humans is really, really, really crucial. Like, to like living a long, healthy life. Like, the studies that have been done that support this, that prove that mortality rates go down, like a decrease in people who have a strong sense of purpose in their life. But that doesn't mean that you need to be like, oh, my purpose is to like save the world. So then I know what my purpose is now. So now I know like I'm going to live a long, like healthy life. But your like goals, setting little goals, that gives you purpose. It gives you the same sense of purpose. So even if you haven't figured out what it is that you want to do, you can still have that sense of purpose through like all your little goals. Like I said, like 10K steps a day, it doesn't need to just be like things to do with your work or whatever. Like we have goals in all areas of our life, but also it's so important to like set those goals to obviously get the sense of purpose and to get really clear on what do you want. Like time's going to pass you by anyway, so you may as well set your little goals and do them. Like you wouldn't walk into a restaurant and just be like, I want to have a nice lunch to the waitress, like, or the waiter.
Unless
you know,
you're a bit of a dick.
Yeah, I want to have a nice lunch. Give me that. I want something that's going to give me the feeling of a nice lunch. Well, sorry, honey, but here's the menu. You tell me what is going to give you that feeling, because I can't decide. You need to decide what you want from the menu. And it's the same with life. Like you have to order from the menu of life. Like what do you want to give you that sense of purpose? What goals do you want to go for? Because we've all got different ones. Like we're all not going to have the same things. Like we all have different, like, you know, goals, purposes, everything. But you have to get clear about what you want. And then when you are, and even if it's small things, like, oh, I'm going to meditate every day and that's my purpose, then that is enough. Like that's going to fulfill you. That's going to give you that really important sense of purpose. That's why setting goals is so important, as well as the fact that obviously like it makes you like get things done and like move forward and progress.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think even like you said, just with the little goals, like 10,000 steps or whatever, it's like you're having that little hit of dopamine each day, and then you know each day what you want to achieve. Because I just think literally living a life, like, fair enough not having big goals, but even not having little goals, like waking up every day, no wonder you feel aimless when you don't have anything to aim towards. And as well, like we were saying there about purpose and not putting too much pressure on it, what I heard yesterday in a podcast, which I thought was so nice, was to not focus too much on your purpose and your passion, but just be curious and just be curious every day. Yeah, because it takes off the pressure. You don't want to be worried so much like, do I want to go down this path? Am I passionate enough? Is this my purpose? Like, just forget all that. Just think, what are you curious about?
Yeah.
And then as well, I think that takes you out of the box, because you're not so much like, oh, I can't do that. I've never trained in that before. It's like, if you're curious, there's a reason. It's like when we talk about envy and stuff, like there's a reason you're interested in it. So I think, yeah, like I really love that, like taking the pressure off and just keeping it curious. And yeah, for 100% keeping those goals, because I couldn't think of anything worse than waking up in the morning and not having any goal, because that just relates to me as like no sense of purpose, even though it's not, everyone has a purpose, but if you don't work on like aligning with your purpose, then that's what you're going to feel.
Yeah. And I think like a lot of people over like this like pandemic, like you wake up and you feel slightly purposeless, because like especially when we were like in quarantine and stuff like that, because you just in the house all day, and like maybe you were on furlough or whatever, so like you can see how not having that, like those daily things that you like need to do, how much that actually affects your like well-being. And then they don't need to be like massive things, but the curiosity thing is like so true, because we were like curious about self-development, learned loads about it, then we're curious about trying a podcast, did it, and now like, you know, it's our full-time job and we're sat here in our own studio. Like you never know where your curiosity is going to lead you, and your curiosity will definitely lead you to your bigger purpose. But yeah, just don't like freak out about what it is, like just like stay curious and like roll with it.
Yeah, because I do really believe this fully, and I wrote an email similar to this on Wednesday on the 1st of September, where I was saying that like literally nobody is going to save you, especially when it comes to your productivity. Like it's so easy to procrastinate and so easy to set goals that you think, oh, you get that boost of inspiration, you set them and then just not there. I feel like you have to be so strategic with like your goals, your plans, like literally to the point where like you feel like you're talking to like a kid. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you've got to parent yourself.
Yeah, like plan out your day as if you're literally a child. You know, they say that children like thrive off routine.
Yes.
You almost have to do that, especially when you're like starting your own business. Like, you can't be so much free flow anymore. You literally have to be so strategic. And I feel like we've been trying a range of things, haven't we? I feel like one thing that's really worked for me is doing like the time blocking and the time management, and literally writing out how long things take for me, and writing out exactly what I want to do that day and like how long it'll take. And even like putting in your lunch and stuff, which is literally like being back at school. It's almost like you have to go backwards a bit.
Yeah, I like was not good at time management.
I don't think you're bad at time management. I
No,
just think
but
you're
there's
quite a
the-
flow person.
Yes, and that flow is all fabulous and fun at the weekend. But sorry, honey, Monday to Friday, when you're trying to grow a business, it doesn't work. So that was like something in me that like I'm not that good at, and I recognise that. So I was like, right, well, what are you going to do about it, Grace? You're going to read some productivity books. You're going to learn about how all this stuff works. You're going to pick up some time management tips, and you're going to implement them, and then you're going to be better. And then, you know, and that's all you have to do. But
Like, go your own way, basically.
Yeah, but once you decide what your goals are, they're going to give you that little sense of purpose. Your goals are not going to do anything. That your goals don't work unless you do. So you have to get good at plotting in the time to show up for your goals, being strict, self-discipline, and otherwise you're not going to do them. Like, you're literally not. Like, you just get so used to like running around doing all your other things in life. Like, you can just get so busy doing other things, like busy being busy, and then you think, I am so busy, like I'm doing loads of stuff, but you're actually not doing anything to do any of the like needle mover tasks that are gonna like move the needle closer to you achieving your goals. Like, and that's like, it's like a form of procrastination, because you feel like you're doing the work because you're like, but I'm so busy. Like for us, like we'll say, but I was so busy, like I've done so much editing, so much social media content making, blah, 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 like we're just doing loads. But then, so you feel like you're doing loads of stuff, but it's like, but where is the time that you plotted in to reach out to new brands for sponsorships? Where's the time that you plotted in to reach out to new guests, to think of new like product ideas, workshop ideas? Like all that stuff is the needle movers. That's what moves you forward. All the other stuff you get busy in life doing is like the day to day, and you can get so used that you can get so easily think, but I am working towards my goal because I'm busy all the time and I'm always working. But are you working on the needle mover tasks that are actually going to move you forward? Because I was not doing any of those, and that's where you have to do the time management to make sure that you're like showing up for them, because they're the hardest tasks to do. So you're going to do all the easier stuff first, because that's what your brain wants to do the easy stuff first, and then deal with the rest later. But then you never have time. Push back and back. So you have to learn how to do time management, time blocking, and put the time in of when you're going to show up for these goals, and be strict, be disciplined, and make sure you do it, because otherwise time runs, another week rolls over, another one, and you don't get any closer to where you want to be.
Yeah, like time can run away. I think we just get so comfortable quite easily, and you can just stay there because, you know, we're like creatures of comfort. Like we love it. And even if you feel like you're kind of like getting somewhere, like we were just explaining there, like obviously you do have like the compound interest of like everything you're doing, but at the same time, if you're not doing those needle moving tasks, you kind of just feel like you're just going round in circles. And I feel like one thing as well that we got really good at is obviously our morning routine.
Oh yeah,
which
we
feel
are
like it's
killing the morning routine right now. It's actually changed my life. It's made me feel so amazing.
Me too. Like it makes such a difference. I've literally been telling like all my friends. Yeah, like what you were
I've been
like,
telling everyone.
Well, I started this because obviously we did like kind of like I've always like meditating stuff and like did our morning stuff, like maybe a bit journaling, but we were never like proper like strategic about when we're doing it and stuff. And the other morning, we obviously got up to do it. We get up at 7 a.m. to do our gratitude with Francis, our affirmations, little meditation. And I got up to do it. And I literally, the first thing I wrote in my journal, like without even writing my gratitude, I just put, and it just comes to me, and I'm sure people have said it before, but it just come out of me, get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Yes.
Because it's so freaking easy, especially something like that in the morning, to just roll over and think, I'm just going back to sleep. One thing, you say you're bad at time management. One thing that I'm bad at is snoozing my alarm. If I'm in a good routine like now, I don't really do it, but yeah, I snooze my alarm, and it's really bad for you. You know, a lot of sleep experts say the worst thing you can possibly do. Yeah. It doesn't matter about going to bed. Yeah, the worst thing you can do is snooze your alarm, because apparently it like literally sends off this thing in your mind thinking, oh, I can just procrastinate throughout the day anyway. So it just like, it's like whatever you do, and James Clear, we're going to get into James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, but he literally has this diagram where it shows like each decision for your day. So it's like if you make one bad decision, and then you make more, and it's like it goes off in a graph, and that's how it is
like
with
starting
snoozing.
on the bad foot.
Yeah, exactly. So I was terrible for snoozing. But anyway, I got up and I wrote, get uncomfortable to get comfortable. Because if you want to be somewhere else in life where you are not now, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to do things you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people forget. They think, oh my God, these entrepreneurs, they've made it. They don't see the behind the scenes. They think, how have they done that? It's like such a breeze. But it's like they would have had so many moments, even if it's like a needle moving task that they didn't want to do, or if it's getting out of bed to do your gratitude, so many moments that made them uncomfortable, but now they're more comfortable.
Yeah, it's like we love what's familiar because that is what's comfortable, but what is familiar isn't always what is actually the best thing for us. So obviously, like implementing a strong morning routine is unfamiliar and uncomfortable, but it's even though it's, you know, unfamiliar and uncomfortable, it's actually better for you to do that. So you need to do it until you get comfortable, and it's just not even, it's unconscious, automatic. You don't even think, oh, am I going to do a morning routine? No, you're gonna do your routine. Like I used to like have like daily non-negotiables. So like things that I do every day, like work out, meditate, little things like that. And I'd just be like, right, I'll just fit them in, because I was being quite flow. I was like, they're my non-negotiables for the day. So as long as I just fit them in the day at some point, then that's fine. But now I'm like thriving off this morning routine. So just let you all know what we are doing, because we're doing like the same thing. So little twins, girl twins. But we are getting up every morning at 6:45 and going on this Zoom at 7 a.m. with Francis Haugen, who's been a guest on our podcast twice. And a lot of you guys know who he is and love him too. And you guys are all welcome to join this Zoom, by the way. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to go on for, because he is about to have a baby, which is so exciting. Yeah. But at the minute it is on. So if you want to join, then just DM us on Instagram. We'll send you the Zoom link. Like, it's completely free. 20 minutes. You join it at 7 a.m. You don't need to show your camera or anything like that. Like, Francis's smiley face is just there in the morning. He's like a ray of sunshine. I'm like half asleep, like turn this Zoom on, and then there he is, like giving me good vibes. And you literally join it for the first 10 minutes. You all just have your journals and you just write what you're grateful for. So like 5 things you're grateful for, 5 things you're grateful for that are things you want in the future but you haven't actually got yet, but you're writing it as if you have. Like, that's like part of that like manifesting technique of like acting like it's already here. But that is just like as well like so good, because it's a daily check-in for me on my goals, like every day, because I'm writing that I'm grateful for these things, that achievements, things that I haven't got yet that I'm like aiming to get. So you do gratitude for 10 minutes and like kind of like goal focusing as well, and then you do 5 minutes meditation together, and then you do affirmations, and then that's it, 20 minutes. And then he normally shares with you like positive quote at the end. So that's 20 minutes and you've already done all of that and you're feeling good. And then we go on and do longer meditations after that, because it's just a little short one we do with him. So we'll meditate, maybe journal some more, and then we are trying to do 10k steps a day. So we aren't like we'll like go out for a morning walk, but not like do the whole 10,000 steps in the whole day. Like get a few thousand in the morning, and then the rest of the day it's easy to finish it off. But yeah, just and then I do a little workout. You go to the gym,
just smash it, because that just really realigns you for the day, doesn't it?
Yes.
Like your day, like what do we say, like your day, what's that thing, your day,
don't let the day run you. Is what you mean? Run the day, don't let the day run you.
Yeah, run the day, don't let the day run you.
Yeah,
because it's so true. Like if you wake up in a bit of a foggy mood and then you just get up and go about your day, like I think more than likely you're just going to feel like that all day. But if you actually put in the effort in the morning to realign your energy, think, where do I want to be in life? And like that's the thing with goals as well. Like writing your goals every single morning helps you think when it comes to like the afternoon and you're like, oh, I can't bother now. But every morning you've wrote down your goal of where you want to be. You think, actually, no, I'm going to do it, because you're reminding yourself.
Yeah. And obviously it sounds like quite a lot what we've just listed there that we do, but obviously if you get up early enough, like you can do it. And because I'm getting up like the same time every day, it means that like my sleep routine's got so much better. You know, I think when people try and like right, I'm going to start getting up earlier, they think, right, I need to go to bed earlier, but your body clock is still out of like sync. You're still used to going to bed late and waking up later. So what you actually have to do is just get up early at the same time every day, keep doing it, even if you're missing out on a few hours of sleep at first, and then naturally your body cycle, like the circadian rhythm. I can never say that word. It regulates itself back out, and then you actually start to fall asleep a lot earlier. So now I fall asleep at like 10, half 10.
Same.
Whereas before I would be on TikTok till like midnight, like, because then I'd get up at 8. So you just need to like, if you're trying to like even sort out your routine in that way, that's one of your goals. You want to get up earlier, because that's such a good goal to like smash a morning routine. It will really change your life. Like, just focus on getting up at the same time every day. Don't worry about the bedtime thing, because you will within a week you'll adjust and you'll start falling asleep earlier, and it'll be fine. So it's like when you're like sitting there in bed like, I need to go to bed early because I'm going to get up early, and then you can't sleep, and then you sit there like rolling and get frustrated, and that's not fun. But I know it sounds like quite a lot, and obviously we're in a unique position where we do work for ourselves, so we have the freedom to do that. Like, you know, we get it done in the morning, ready for the work day. But obviously, like, if it was to run over till 9:30, 10, it's not like we've got like a manager coming and shouting at us, telling us to get our computer at 9 a.m. So I'm well aware that obviously a lot of people listening aren't in that situation and will have normal like 9 to 5 jobs where you've got to go to an office, or if you've got kids and you've got to take them to school, like all things like that. So it doesn't mean that you can't have a strong morning routine because of that. Like, you don't need to do all the things we just listed. Like, you can do what is like the most effective for you, like trial and error. Like, you might go to the gym later in the day, and like, but I think that just waking up, I think like gratitude in the morning out of the whole routine is like the main thing that is just so life changing. Like, so life changing. It's crazy. It's such an underrated practice, and I know we've done like episodes on it before, but like, you slip in and out of the habit, and like, I'm really glad we've gone back in hard on the habit, because I'm noticing like such huge difference.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. And I think as well, just like showing up for yourself every single morning, and the power of routine. So like, we were doing a bit of research on routine, because I feel like always when you look up to like people that have succeeded like really well, or, you know, people that wrote books and stuff, they always seem to have this routine, like whether it's in the morning or even or whatever, they seem to have like a routine that they stick to. And when we were researching it, we're saying how like, as humans, we crave predictability. Like, we don't like being in the unknown.
We love predictability.
We love
planning everything and knowing everything that's going to happen.
Even like, if unconsciously we don't even realize it, but we do, we like knowing what's going to happen. And I think by, say, getting up every morning, doing your morning routine, you know how that goes, you know, you feel good, you have that sense of safety, so then you're more likely to push yourself out of your comfort zone throughout the day. You're like, oh, I'm going to do this, because you have that like underlying safety. Whereas like, if you just wake up and go about your day, and you wake up a bit anxious, and then you feel worse, and it's like, nothing is predictable. Even if it is, even if you know you're going to work and then you're driving home and you're going to watch TV, it's like inside you don't feel that sense of safety. So I think like the power of routine and repetition and keeping consistent is really, really important to create safety.
Yeah, it does. And from someone that's just gone from having like a really random routine of whatever I felt like on the day to now having a strict one, it does definitely make you feel really grounded and like secure and stable.
Yeah, like, so I got this.
That is so true. Yeah, but like, obviously the morning routine is like been one of our goals that then is making us actually have more self-discipline for bigger goals, because you start, you're doing one little thing that's like you know requires discipline, you have to show up for. It's actually making like you said, like the rest of the day so much more productive, because you're starting off like with that. But I think just as well, it's like, you know, like confidence is built in case studies, like, and self-trust is built in keeping the little promises to yourself. So because we're like doing the same thing every morning, like committing to getting up at this certain time and like doing these things that are going to make us feel good regardless of how tired we feel, regardless of whatever's going on, like doing it anyway, then you're like building up this self-trust that then I come into like the studio and I sit down at the computer and I'm like, this is what I've got to do today. Oh, that's a lot, but I know I'm going to get it done, because like I have that self-trust that I stick to my like so deadlines, true. my time management, and like, because I'm showing myself every morning that I am. And obviously you don't like, we're obviously banging on about morning routines here because we're just in love with them at the minute, but you don't need, if like that's not your vibe, you don't need to do that. But with goals, like this principle applies with everything. So if you have a big goal and you've got little goals, if you're showing up for your little goals consistently, you're still building that self-trust, which then means that it makes you think, like, because when we're setting goals, no goal is too big. Like, we always say this, reach for the bloody moon and get up there. Like, you can do anything in life. You literally can. I know there's limitations, other people have different opportunities, all things like that. Yes, take all that into consideration. But we all have the power to create the life that we want in whatever way that is for us. So whatever goal you have, whatever thing you want, it's not too big. It's not silly. Like, you can have it. It might take you a while to get it. Like, that is fine. Goals require action. Like, but if you're going to follow through with it, then you can have it. So like, let yourself like dream really big. And then when you're doing these, like showing up for these like small goals, like morning routine, things like that, building that self-trust, it makes you trust yourself that you can follow through on those bigger goals, which then makes you think, you feel less silly to set them. You're like, no, I think I can do this. Like, I trust myself. Like, I've shown it in the confidence building case studies. I've shown that I've done it in these little ways of like sticking to 10k steps a day, like sticking to gratitude every morning, like little things like that, making sure I get my work done in the day, like sticking to my time management, blah, 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 whatever it is that you want to do, then means that when you set some big crazy goal that's like what you really want out there, you're going to trust yourself so much more that you can do it. And then you're going to let yourself dream, you're going to let yourself set that goal, and you're going to like that drops so much of that internal resistance that you build up with procrastination. Because like with procrastination, like so much of it is like internal and external resistance that you need to clear through, but a lot of the internal resistance is because you are self-sabotaging without even realizing, like you're thinking that it's like you're not actually going to be able to do it, and it's such a big goal and it's scary, so you just avoid doing all the tasks, because even though that goal, that thing is the number one thing that you want, but like deep down you believe that you're not going to be able to do it, and it makes you procrastinate on it. But when you're showing up for all these like small little goals, small promises, you're building that self-trust, like such a strong foundation of it, that's going to stop you procrastinating and subconsciously self-sabotaging on the things that you really want.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, especially about the goals. I actually heard something this morning, it was like, set mediocre goals and get a mediocre life. And it's so true. Like, so many people set goals that are not quite what they want because they're scared of like failing, of almost not getting it. But like, what is the harm in setting a bigger goal and setting the goal that you actually want? Because if you just set the one that you think you could probably achieve, then you're probably going to achieve it, and then you're going to be somewhere you probably just achieved. Like, what's the point in that? You want to go somewhere like far beyond. And as well, what you're saying there about like showing up for yourself and like keeping with that habit is so true, especially with forming new habits. So in James Clear's book Atomic Habits, which we're going to recommend at the end, it's really good for like forming new habits, there's this thing called the 2-minute rule, and it's always stuck with me because now I always just remember, like, it's not so much what you're doing or the act of doing it, it's kind of like actually what's going on in your mind when you're showing up for yourself. So the 2-minute rule is that no new habit should take longer than 2 minutes. So say if you like want to form a new habit, start going to the gym, you should only start with 2 minutes. If you can't dedicate yourself, just do 2 minutes. So the 2 minutes could be literally putting your shoes on. And like, to some people you may think, well, that's stupid. Why the hell would you just put your shoes on and then take them off? But that's how you start with the habit, because like psychologically in your head, showing up for yourself in that habit and just putting your shoes on, that's going far beyond you not doing it. It's all like little tricks in your mind when you actually think about it. It's not so much what you're doing. It's like, how can you actually trick your own mind and use habits that are really going to benefit you? And then, basically it was saying that like Olympians.
I don't know. Olympians, I think it is.
It was saying that Olympians use it all the time because they'll they'll start with a habit, obviously say like 2 minutes. Say you go to the gym, you run for 2 minutes. Literally, if you don't want to do it, go to the gym, run for 2 minutes, and say I can go home. But then once you're there, you're going to carry on anyway because you're already there. It's literally, it is like hacking your mind. And if you want to like hack your mind and get the most out of your life and achieve your goals, you just have to educate yourself on how to.
And it's even like with reading, like that 2-minute rule is so good for wanting to build a reading habit, which is, we didn't mention that, but that's something we've been doing in our morning routine. We've been reading a lot recently. And if you like, people are like, oh no, I just can't read, I can't concentrate, I never find the time. Just do 2 minutes. You can do 2 minutes of reading. Yeah,
you can do 2 minutes of anything.
Yeah, or even like meditation. You can do 2 minutes of meditation. Like, come on. We have to shut your eyes, relax. That 2-minute rule is so good. And it's like, as well, like when you're procrastinating on like a big project or something like that, or your big goal or whatever it is, when you've got that massive goal, you're looking up like from the bottom of the mountain, and all you can see ahead of you is all the steps you've got to take to get there, and you get so overwhelmed that then you're just like, oh my god, I don't know where to start. So like, instead of just writing this huge list of everything that you need to do to get there that's going to overwhelm you and just freak you out and make you not even do it, just highlight one actionable step that you can do that day that's going to move you close to that goal. Just one. And it doesn't matter how big or small it is. Like, say 2 minutes of like researching something to find whatever you need for the project, whatever it is. Just do one actionable step, because that's what's going to get that ball rolling. Like, you know, Isaac Newton, Mr. Physician, with all his laws. He's got a law, the law of motion, and basically, like, if something is at rest, it's going to stay at rest. Like, it's not going to move. But if something is moving, all you need to do is like push it once, have one external force, and then it's just going to keep going and build momentum and keep going. And you only need to actually push it once. So it's the same with like procrastination. Like, take that one actionable step that's just going to push you. There's one little push that's going to get your ball starting to roll, and then it's just momentum after that. You do that one thing, and then it just starts going, and then the ball goes, snowball effect, it goes and goes and goes, and then it doesn't require you to put that same level of behind it to get it going. Like, once you just push the boulder and it goes, like, think about a huge boulder rolling down a hill. Just, you've got to really push it to get it off the ground. It's really heavy, needs loads of, you know, mental, physical strength. Push it, and then it starts to move, and then it rolls, and it goes, and it starts going speeding down the hill, and you don't even need to touch it.
Yeah.
That's literally you with your goals. Like, and that's how you can overcome procrastination. Like, just take that one little step, and that can just be 2 minutes of one little thing that's going to get you. Once you just start doing it, you just need to start as well. It's like, just start.
Yeah.
Just start.
It's like,
don't stop like getting paralyzed by perfection of how to do it, and just start.
Yeah, literally, like, that reminds me of the Mel Robbins 5-second rule, because it's like, you can literally just stand in your way so much with procrastination. And if you just count down to 5, literally something that's simple, even if it's like a task or getting out of bed is like a massive one, counting down from 5 and just do it and just move. Because once you do it and once you get that ball rolling, like you said, like, once it's moving, and you can sit back and relax. It's like that 1% better every day. Like, you don't have to focus on how can I be 50% better today or whatever. Just 1% better every single day, and then how much is that going to add up to? It's just like, get the ball rolling. The 5-second rule is amazing, and you just need it. It is going to be uncomfortable at first. You are going to need a lot more, like, you're going to be met with so much more resistance in the early stages of any form of tackling any kind of goal. But once you just start, then momentum, and it just snowballs, and it starts to go, and it starts to become your identity as well, which is obviously a big thing that James Clear speaks about in that book, Atomic Habits, about how, like, your habits become your identity as well. So, like, if you start a meditation habit, you're going to start to identify as a meditator, as someone that meditates, and then it's not even going to be like a choice of whether I need to meditate or not, because it just becomes like ingrained in you. But also, like, when you're like starting all your things, like whatever it is, tackling any of your goals at the start, like we said, you're going to be met with a lot of resistance. That's why and this is what I've been doing recently, and also, like, just whatever goal you're going for, it is not going to be easy and fun the whole time. It is not. Like, you're going to have to do boring things, you have to do admin things, you have to do scary things you don't want to do. It's not going to be all amazing, but obviously, like, it's still, like, it is going to be rewarding, because you know you're working towards what you want, and like, you're making progress, and you have that sense of purpose. So you're going to feel great, but it doesn't mean it's going to be easy and like just plain sailing. Like, it's going to be uncomfortable. And I actually think that when you're kind of like doing little tiny things to train yourself to be okay with uncomfortableness, like building that like mental resilience, like mental toughness, especially when you're going for big goals, and like you can be filled with like self-doubt and like lack of self-belief, like that mental toughness is so important. So like, I've been doing like really small little things, like when I'm doing my workouts, like, because it's always the way my workouts are set up, these Pilates workouts, it's all done in 10 reps. And like, usually if I get to like rep 6, I feel like I'm going to collapse. Like, I'm like, oh, I can't do this. Like, the burn is too real. I'll just stop.
And obviously, like, you should listen to your body. You don't always want to, like, just push through. But you also, like, when you're like, come on, you can actually do this. You're just being, you're just being too lazy, like, a bit too soft on yourself. I will just be like, nope. Glennon Doyle always says in Untamed, we can do hard things. I literally just say to myself, we can do hard things. And I just go and do the 10 reps. And, like, on the walks, like, doing the 10K steps a day, at first, like, I thought that was going to be so hard because, like, from working from home all the time, like, you hardly do any steps in the house. And I had, like, a Fitbit on, and I could see, like, my steps were so low. So I thought, 10,000, I'm going to have to be outside doing, like, huge walks all the time. It's going to be so hard. It's not even that hard. But, like, say it was raining, normally, like, old Grace, she'd be like, it's raining, I'm not going outside. I'm not going to get wet and muddy and ruin my hair and, oh no, and cold. That's not fun. I'll just not finish my steps today. Whereas now I'm like, no, rain or shine, winter is coming and it's going to be dark and horrible in the morning, and I'm going on walks anyway because you just need to get outside. So, like, that, like, going for a walk in the rain, it sounds small, but that's uncomfortable. You don't want to do that. But I just tell myself, no, you are going to do that because you're going to do your goal anyway. But also, like, you're then also getting used to being uncomfortable, like very small little things like that, just making choices where you'd normally duck out and just be like, no, let's keep going, let's show up for ourselves, builds that mental toughness and mental resilience. Like, the same way, like, when you're in the gym, you're like, oh, actually, I think I can lift a heavier weight, and, like, you go up, you get stronger, and, like, it builds in your mind that you are stronger. So then when you're going for, like, your massive goals, you trust yourself more as well, because you, like, obviously when we're speaking about the self-trust with just showing up for yourself anyway builds self-trust, but then building that self-trust in knowing that, like, I can do hard things because I go for walks in the rain and I finish my 10 reps and stuff like that, like, really small things. It builds up to that identity of, like, we can do hard things. And, like, just that mental toughness, which I think is so important, like, especially when you're going for massive goals.
I think, like, nobody, like I said at the start, nobody's going to build that for you. Like,
No.
that's nothing anyone could ever hand to you. And that reminds me as well of a bit in James Clear book where he says, like, every morning, like, just to realign you, he says, step 1 is decide the type of person you want to become. And then step 2, prove it to yourself in small wins. So that's like you're saying, like, in the workout, like, what kind of person do I want to become? Like, it's just 2 more reps or whatever, but it's like, no, what kind of person do I want to become? Like, do I want to build my mental resilience? Like, who do I want to be? Like, that is, like, kind of, like, coded into all the little things that you would never think throughout the day.
Yeah. All these little tiny choices that you're making every single day are, like, reaffirming who you are. So who do you want to be? Like, that's, like, people underestimate it as well, and I used to underestimate it for sure. That's why now when I've started doing all this stuff, I'm like, wow, I am a productivity queen. I can do anything. Like, it starts to make you think that's then, like, when we're setting big goals, I'm like, yeah, we're going to get it done. Of course we are, because, like, we stick to our word and that self-trust. So yeah, it's amazing. So the other thing with goals is that you need to connect to a why, like a really strong why behind what you're doing, because, like we've just said a million times, it is not always going to be fun. It's not going to be easy. You aren't, like, when those moments when you want to snooze your alarm, like, your why is your, like, thing that gets you, no, come on, we're going to do it. On the days when you're bored of doing whatever you work, whatever you're doing, when you're really tired and you don't want to show up, like, when everything's really hard and you're facing, like, huge challenges, and it's your goal is, like, coming up against loads of hurdles and you don't know what to do, and, like, you feel like you're going to need to give up. Your why is what is going to stop you from doing that. So, like, whatever your goal is, doesn't matter how big or small, like, even, like, with meditation, like, I've been using Headspace meditation recently, and, like, during their meditations they always get you to think about who are you doing this for, like, not just yourself but the other people in your life. Like, how are all these other people going to benefit from you meditating? So when I meditate in the morning and it asks me that question, I think, well, Abby's going to benefit from it because I'm not going to be a psycho today, or, like, like, things like that, or I'm going to be nicer to people I'm in the street walking, because you're going to be happier when you meditate. So, like, little things like that, like, that's during meditation, it's reminded me, like, why am I doing this? Like, to connect to it, so you stay concentrated, you keep doing it. But you need to have a why behind your goals, and it doesn't matter whether, like, it's big or small goal, it doesn't matter. You need to have a why. So if it is, like, steps, like, why? okay, I want to like be healthier. I want to show myself. I want to exercise more. I want to show myself that I can stick to something, or you know, things like that. Like figure out your why. Like we've literally just obviously smashed one of our big goals, which is to create our own studio. And for the last few weeks, obviously we've had a couple of weeks off the podcast because we were like, it was summer break, and we were literally, but like we weren't actually having a break. We were in this studio painting every day, painting. Oh my god, because the walls in here were lime green and now they're beautiful white, like with an undertone of grey. Beautiful. We had to slap the paint on. Oh my god, we had to do so many things. We had to like fill holes in the wall, sand things down. Oh my, clean things.
It just felt like it was never going to end.
Rip up a carpet, sand the floor. It didn't feel like it was going to end. And when we were there, day in, day out, wearing these disgusting paint outfits that we'd been wearing every single day that were covered in paint, like I literally looked like Henry VIII or something. Like I was wearing these horrible, those horrible pajamas. Because like I'm someone who's into matching pajamas.
Yeah, you're a pajama queen.
So when I was like, right, what am I going to wear to paint? One needs to be something I don't care about. So it was my really ugly pair of pajamas that don't fit me. So I look like Henry VIII every day wearing these like pajamas that are too short for me. Like, just not a vibe. Covered in paint, you know, the weather was warm, and there we were sweating our tits off in this room, literally like painting. Aching arms.
There were so many moments.
Oh my god!
I was like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, we were like, it was not easy, and it wasn't that fun. Like, I mean, we just chatted and like played music and like listened to podcasts together and like made it fun. But like the actual task of it wasn't fun. And whenever I'd like try and do bits on my own, like when you went here, or whatever, I was like, right, I'm gonna do a bit of studio. I literally was like, this is so hard. This is so hard. Like, obviously, doing it together made it so much easier. But what got through us, like, doing that was our why. Like, because we knew that when we finished it, we were going to be so proud. And we knew that once we'd finally set ourselves a proper studio, that the benefits and all the, like, amazingness that was going to come out of having a studio and, like, improving the sound quality, like, getting new equipment, like, and just having a creative space for us to work from every day. We knew that was going to, like, fulfill us so much and bring so much positivity to our life and so many more like achievements and success. So that is what got us through painting weeks and weeks and weeks on end when it was so boring and horrible, doing all that DIY, trying to figure out how to be DIY people, going into home base, getting mugged off. They were like, yeah, you need to buy this like really expensive little machine. You need to buy these like goggles and gloves because you might like get nails in your eyes. And we were like, oh, okay, like we didn't have a clue. But yeah, it was our why that like drove us through that, like our love of the podcast and wanting to like, you know, do something that was going to help it grow.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise I really feel like we wouldn't have probably got through it. And I think as well, just like in life, you can have like an overall why, which will obviously relate to like your goals and your purpose. And it can be something selfish. Like your why in life could be that I deserve to be happy every day.
Yeah.
So like that, having that as a why, that will literally improve your life so much, because that morning routine, you'll want to do it because you deserve to feel happy. To go after the career that you want, you'll want to do it because you want to feel happy, you want to feel fulfilled. You want to have a beautiful family, like you want to feel happy, you want to kind of set yourself up for that. So I think like having that overall why, well, yeah, like play into all of like your purpose and your goals, but make it selfish.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people like are scared to have a selfish why because they feel like, oh, my why should be that like I want to like
save the world,
and
I just want to feel fulfilled.
Yeah,
and just enjoy life.
Yeah, like so you can have like a completely selfish why.
Yeah,
like it's your life at the end of the day, honey. It's your world. We're all just living in it. So like, you know, it's all about you. Yeah, as well as it's about, you know, your friends, families. Don't be like completely self-centered, like
raising narcissists.
Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, like what are you getting up for every day? Like is to make you happy, and but also like what makes you happy is making other people happy and all of that stuff. But
otherwise we won't be sat right here.
Yeah, so like don't be scared to have like a selfish why. Like I think people are like scared as well to be like why to be some materialistic thing. Like, well, no, what we're here living in like this human world where we have access to all the material things. Like, as long as you've got like the right intention behind what you're doing, you're not just like looking for validation, fulfillment in material things, you're never going to get that. But like, there's no harm in enjoying all that stuff. I think people demonize it and like then are scared for that, to allow that to be their why and their motivation, when that's literally fine. Like, if your why is to get a new car, or like, you know, whatever you want, like, do it. That's what's going to get you going.
Yeah, exactly. We're in a material world, we might as well enjoy it.
Yeah. So yeah, have a think about, what is my why? Like, think about, right, so you've identified your goals, then you need to identify the action steps of how you're going to move forward. You need to start working on your time management and plotting in time for those needle moving tasks that are going to move the needle closer to your goal. You need to be showing up for those, and then assess, right, what is my why that's going to drive me behind to do all of this, like, uncomfortable, at times not fun things that I'm going to have to do.
Another really important thing which will really keep you on track, which I feel so grateful for, because we have this so much and we didn't source this out, we just walked right into it.
Yeah.
Is having an accountability partner. And that can look like anything. Like, for example, if you reach out to like a coach or a therapist, that is someone that's holding you accountable. Or your friends and the people around you. Obviously, me and Grace are massive accountability partners for each other without even realizing it. And that goes into like every area of our life. I think so much, like, there's so many things each of us go through and we take advice from each other, and like showing up for ourselves, like habits. Yeah, of course. But even the things that you wouldn't even think, like just motivating to become who you want to be as a person. Like, you inspire me the way that you show up for yourself, and that like infiltrates into me.
Yeah.
But we actually found a fact as well this week that if you have an accountability partner, you are 800 times more likely to carry out the task. Yeah. Which is mad. And it's probably just because you just think, well, I need to prove it to this person.
Yeah, you don't want to be embarrassed. No, honestly, this podcast is accountability. Like, for me and you doing it together, like, I couldn't be like, oh, I'm not going to put out an episode. You'd be like, what? No. Like, but I honestly think if I'd started this by myself, I don't think I'd be here right now, because the amount of like self-doubt, self-criticism that you come up against when you're recording your voice every week for an hour and putting it out online, like, you come up with so many, like, especially in the early stages when you're building your confidence, like, you've never done it before, like, and it's hard. Like, you've got to think of a new topic every week, you've got to research things, you've got to come on and, like, you know, you've got to put in the work. And like, so if we didn't have each other, I don't think this podcast would be here where it is now. And it's because of the accountability that, like, you know, I can't let you down, you can't let me down, as well, like, all you guys, you're our accountability partners as well, because you're here showing up for us every week on a Wednesday, coming and giving us your time, listening to us, and we need to bring you value. We need to give you something that's going to, like, inspire you, make you feel better, uplift you, make you laugh, or whatever it is, the purpose of that episode. Like, we have to show up for that. You're now our accountability partners. There's no way we couldn't just go podcast ghosting, not that we'd want to, and like just disappear. You'd be like, where have you gone? What are you doing? So yeah, accountability is like mad, but like, you know, you can just do that. Even like, it's like me and you, like, we've got our step thing, not like, maybe we should check in with each other every day that we've done 10k.
Well, we can do it on
we've
the
all got our
thing.
Fitbit, so that app, like, you can share. There's so many apps and stuff that, like, oh my god, show what we've been doing as well recently, which is the most amazing app for procrastination. It's called Forest, and it's not free, but it's like, I
love it.
It's like £1.79 or something like that. When I told Abby, I was like, you do have to pay, and you were like, it's literally like a quid, like what?
It's like £1.79.
Because normally all apps are free, so I feel like you're like automatically like in that mindset. So yeah, you do have to pay for it, but you only pay for it once, like and it's not very expensive. But it's called Forest. So like, we've got it on our iPhone, so I'm sure you can probably get it on other phones, but I don't know. But it's in the App Store on Apple. And you basically, like, it stops you from going on your phone while you're meant to be like doing like some work. So this is amazing if you're like studying and things like that, or whatever, because I know that like some people need to have the phone on them to like do work, like group WhatsApps, like from work, like with their managers and stuff. So I know it's not always that easy to like be like, right, I'm shutting my phone off for a full hour and doing all this work and no one can like contact me. But most people can find like will need that, like will help them. So yeah, download it. It's called Forest. It will set you back £1.79, but I'm sure you can all afford that in the name of productivity and like stopping your procrastination. Like you'll just notice as well how much you go and like grab your phone, especially we've got apps like TikTok and stuff like that. Like I notice within me, like, right, so I'll sit there, I'll go to write the Monday morning email, and I'll sit there and I'm like, right, let's write this email. And then I'm like, this is hard. TikTok. And then like I start going on that. And I started to notice that whenever I got to a point in my writing where I was finding it hard because I needed to like think of a new idea or whatever, I was getting to a point where it wasn't as easy, I'd go and grab my phone. And this app just stops you doing that, because basically it takes over your phone and it starts planting trees for you. You set like a timer, so like 30 minutes, that's how long it's going to take you to plant a tree in your garden. And if you go on your phone within that time, then your tree's going to die and you're going to have a wilted little horrible dead tree planted in your garden forever that you can't delete. So if you want to have a beautiful thriving garden, then you cannot go on your phone and stop the timer, or you're going to ruin the game. And that is also accountability, obviously, because of the app, but also you can add your friends on it, so we've got each other on it. So like I can see if you have betrayed your trees, and you can see if I have. So like like accountability can even just be like little things like that. Apps like that, if you haven't actually got a person to be accountable with. But then if you've got like a gym goal, like have a gym buddy, like things like that, it just really helps. Like we said, you're going to be 800% more likely to follow through with all the tasks you need to smash your goal if you've got someone keeping you accountable. I think you could even like ask your friend, like, can you ask me every week if I have done anything to move closer towards this project or whatever? Because then you know that they're going to ask you, like, when they see you on Saturday for your coffee, have you done that? And you're not going to want to be like, no. Yeah. And then if you haven't, you're like, no. You're going to feel shame. You're like, shit, I really don't want to be feeling like that next week, so I'm going to do it. Like, it can even be small things like that. Like, ask your friend, ask your partner, your mum, or whatever, to like ask you once a week if you've shown up for whatever it is. Even on that level, it can be accountability.
Yeah, no, for sure. I literally love that app. I actually had to let one die the other day because I think somebody called me, and then I was like,
you just ruined my garden.
Yeah, no, I was like, my forest is dying, and they were like, what? They're probably thinking, what the hell are Abby and Grace doing now, saying the forest is dying and all this stuff. But this is the levels you have to go to if you want to succeed in life. There's the levels you have to go to plant fake trees. Yeah. And as well with like the accountability, like you guys are our accountability, but we can also be yours. Like, we will watch you. We're watching from the sidelines.
We are. We
see what you're doing, especially if you're on Instagram. We see what you're doing.
Yeah, we see if you're like, posting your meditations, your journals, your workouts. We're watching your stories.
Yeah, if you let us know you've listened to the episode, we're like, they're on it. We're all in this together, and I feel like you do just have to lean on people sometimes. Yeah. For the motivation, for the accountability.
Yeah, and then like you can do it in return for them. Like we all need accountability.
For sure.
So we're just going to round off the goals episode by talking about one final little thing, and that is the concept of having it all. And like, I don't know who came up with it, but it was like some like feminist woman came up with it like quite a few years ago now, the concept of women having it all. Because with men it seemed that they could have it all. They can have a career and they can have a family, fine, no problem, like, because they're not the ones that are expected to stay at home, and naturally like they're not the mums, so you just don't, like, mums just obviously just get way more in with the kids and all that. I'm not saying that all dads don't do that, but typically this is kind of how the world is. And so it came up with this like phrase of women having it all and saying that we can have it all. And then some people are like, no, you can't. We literally can't have it all. Like, you can't. There's not enough time in the day, blah, blah, blah. I think we can have it all in the long term. We just can't have it all every single day. That's not possible. Like, you need to think about your life as a pie chart. Like, each month, each year, like even each week, that pie chart and what it's been split off into is going to completely change, because your priorities change all the time and your goals change all the time. And so you're not going to, like, whatever, everything that you want, you're not going to have it all at once, but you are going to have some of it at certain points of your life. That's why I think it's really good to like have long-term goals for your life and think about how you want your life to pan out. I know that we don't have full control, but we have things that we can control. We can control like our actions towards our goals. Maybe a global pandemic will come and completely change your life plan, your long-term plan. Like things like that are going to happen. So you've got to like stay flexible. But I think it's really important. Like, well, for me, I really enjoy doing it anyway, thinking long-term about my life. This is how I'm going to make sure that I, as a woman in this world, I'm going to have it all, because I have big like career ambitions. Like we've got our own like business with this podcast, like there's other things we want to do, like there's all these things that I want to fulfill in my like career life. There's also loads of things that I want to fulfill in my personal life that are like way further in the future, like when it comes to like having a family and stuff like that. Like obviously I'm nowhere near that now, like I'm 100% completely single, but there's no babies on the way, but like that's what I want in my future. And like when I think about my future, like I want to have full control over how my family life is going to be, like and that means that like, so for now, like, so for my having it all in my life, that means that I want to have a big career and I want to have like a family and stuff in the future. And that usually comes like feeling like you need to compromise on one or the other. And how I'm like seeing my life now and planning it is, right, this is the working years, like get your like career set up, get your business set up, all that stuff, so that when it comes that point where like you can have that, start the personal life goals, like the family, all things like that, you can fully enjoy that part of your life because you've set up really solid foundations for yourself financially, like in your career, like all of that stuff. Like, and I'm not being naive and thinking that life might not come and throw me a big shit sandwich and a big snowball that's going to completely change that plan. But that plan is what motivates me, and like and that's what's giving me that predictability and that security that humans love. So I'm working towards that. And if it changes, then it bloody changes, and that's fine, because I might change in 5 years and want something else. But who I am now, that's like what I see in my future and what I want. So in terms of like having it all, I am going to have it all. But I'm not going to have it all at the same time. So I'm going to get to experience the career stuff that I want to smash in the next few years. Then in the following years after that, as long as my life plan all goes all right and whatever, then I'll get to fulfill all the other things in my personal life, like in terms of that family life that people feel like, especially women, feel like they need to compromise their career for. So I'm like, I can have it all. Have this, so like in terms of my pie chart for the next few years, probably going to really filled with work and stuff like that, like, and then later on, like whenever it comes to that point where you like have a family, like work will be a much smaller part of that pie chart and family will be a huge part. So in terms of like having it all day to day, I'm not going to be, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. But like long term over my life, I know what I want. I know what my goals are. I know what I want to have in my life. I know what's going to make me feel fulfilled. So I'll like change my pie chart and be flexible over time to make sure that over the long term view of my life, the long overarching bird's eye view looking at my life, I have had it all, because I did make it all happen and had what I wanted, just not every day at the same time. So
yes, I love that so much. And I love it because, like you said, you don't know how your life's going to pan out, but to just actually allow yourself and give yourself permission to say, I am going to have it all.
Yeah.
Like, how many women...
How empowering,
yeah. will like think, oh, maybe I can't have it all. Maybe I have to choose from this and that. But to actually stand in your truth and say, I can have it all. And no matter what happens, I'm going to have it all, just at different parts of my life. Is so, so empowering. And I think as well, it relates to that whole get uncomfortable to get comfortable. Like, there may be some things in business you don't want to do now, but that's going to build your business, our business, so much bigger, and then in the future is when you can lay back and relax and just enjoy life and know that you can have it all.
Literally. And like, you know, they're my personal goals. I know that some, you know, not every person wants to have family or things like that, then that's fine. Like everyone's got their own different things. Everyone has their own version of having it all. That's my version, but that doesn't mean it's the same version for everybody else. And that's like the blanket concept of having it all is career and family stuff. Like no, you might have no desire for career and just be really focused on family.
You might just want to go and live on a hill.
You might have no desire for family, and you might want to go and live in the bloody sticks. Like, and that's your all. There's no having it all, like one size fits all. You have to do introspection, decide, figure out what makes you tick, and who cares what anybody else thinks. Figure out what it is that is in your heart, that's in your purpose, in your passion. What is it that you love? What do you think about? What do you daydream about? That is your all. Like, show up for that. Like, who cares what anybody else thinks, says, or does? Like, whenever I mention things about like babies or whatever, you're probably like, what the fuck? Also, like, I'm just nowhere near having babies, by the way. I just want to make this really clear.
I do want babies, I'm just not very pretty.
No, yeah, I know. But as in, like, if I ever, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's not gonna, like, I was talking about it with my friend the other day, and she was like, really? Do you think about that? And I was like, yeah, I do. And she was like, God, I never think about that. And I'm like, well, that's just because we've got different things. Like, that's totally fine. Like, there's not like, oh, she's thinking about that, that's her goal, so I need to make that true because I want to have it all. And no, what is your all? Because it's individual to you, and it's your life, and you need to show up for your life like exactly as you want it to be, because at the end of the day, it's you need to feel fulfilled. And following a blueprint, following society's narrative, it's following what your parents tell you to do, what your friends make you think you do, is not going to make you happy. You have to ask yourself and show up for that. So that's how you're going to have it all. Decide what your own all is, and then just know that over the time, your pie is going to change to have different things in it. But the overarching long-term view of your life, you are going to get to experience it all, just not all at the same time, because that is physically impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we are super women, but it's only a certain amount of hours in a day, and it's really important to like be well rested and healthy and happy. You know, you're not going to enjoy it all if you're like burnt out and stressed.
Yeah, that's so true. We're always striving to have it all, but yeah, you wouldn't actually want it all at the same time because you'd be knackered.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's important as well to like appreciate the journey. So when you're setting all your goals, like appreciate every step along the journey, because that's what it's all about. It's the process. And then obviously, like, yeah, you can't like benchmark your happiness on, I'm going to be happy when I get to that, when I get to this. No, the happiness is now. The happiness is knowing that you're working towards something, and you're learning new things every day, and you're pushing yourself, and you're making progress. That's what's going to make you feel happy and fulfilled, not when you actually reach the goalpost. Because yes, that'll be great, and like that's what you're aiming for, but the main happiness and fulfillment you get is that sense of purpose of like moving towards something. Like, that's what's going to make you happy. So even if like your goalpost changes, and like, you know, because we all change, like as life goes on, your goals aren't going to stay the same. Like, my goals were when I was like 18 are very different to what they are now. Like, you know, so things are going to change, and like, but it's that sense of purpose that makes you feel really happy and fulfilled, and that is what you get when you're chasing goals.
Yeah, you got to be hungry. No, I can't remember who this guy is, but he has this thing where it's like, you've got to be hungry, and he says it all the time, like, you've got to be hungry. And that hunger and staying hungry, I think that's like the blissful part.
Yeah.
Once you're not hungry, once you get to the goal and you're not hungry anymore, you're more satisfied. It's just not actually as fun as you think.
Yeah.
It's like, stay hungry, stay so hungry when you think about your goals.
And stay curious.
And woke.
It's like part of my pie right now, a little bit of slice from my life pie chart, is being taken up by therapy. Like, that's one of my goals right now. It's connected to my why. It's going to get me closer to like my bigger goals. But that's not always going to be my pie chart, because I'm going to stop going soon, because I've like made so much progress already, feel so much better. It's not something I'm going to do every day for the rest of my life. So that's what I mean. Like, your pie chart's always going to change. But if therapy is one of your goals, or you just, even if like you're actually really struggling with motivation and procrastination and like lack of self-belief and wanting to set goals but literally can't, therapy is actually a tool that will help you do that. Because I've talked about things like this in therapy, like productivity, like procrastinating, all stuff like that, because it's all linked to like self-sabotaging. And even talking about in therapy has helped me remove that internal resistance against what I'm trying to do. But if you want to go to therapy, the people that sponsor this podcast is BetterHelp, and they are an online therapy company who will set you up with a therapist in just 48 hours of you signing up for an account. You just go in there, fill out a really quick like 5-minute questionnaire, then they can understand who you are and what are your needs, and they will match you up with the perfect therapist. Even if it turns out you don't like the therapist they match you with, you can change as many times as you want until you find someone you vibe with, because that is so important on therapy, that you connect with your therapist. Otherwise you're not going to open up and get the full like benefits. They let you do that as many times as you want at no additional cost, and it's also way more affordable than traditional offline counselling, because it's all done online from the comfort of your own home, from a computer, from an app on your phone. You don't have to go anywhere to access therapy. You can literally relax at home and get it. So it is a lot more affordable because it's online, and they are very kindly giving our listeners a 10% discount off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp. So to get this discount, all you need to do is go to the link betterhelp.com/finding your feet. That's betterhelp.com/finding your feet, and you will automatically get the discount applied to your account, and you can start your therapy journey. But therapy is part of my pie right now. Maybe you need to make it part of yours to help with your goals and whatever you want to do in life. But therapy's life changing, and it's been like, you know, like I had like a rocky few months, and therapy just grounded me so much. Like it's just, whatever your life problem is, it doesn't matter. Like you can go into therapy with anything at all. Anything. You just need someone to talk to and get things off your chest. You're going in there and you're talking to someone who's non-judgmental, non-biased, and who's professionally trained in managing your emotions and helping you move out of it. Like, you're always going to get huge positives from it. So if you want to start your therapy journey, head to our link. We've left it in the show notes. And if you've got any questions about therapy, any questions about BetterHelp, then just come and message us on Instagram, and we'll be very happy to answer.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like with therapy as well, that is a huge accountability partner.
Yeah, exactly.
Like massively, yeah, because you're going to go each week, especially with BetterHelp, you'll go and you can do like your video calls, whatever you prefer. And they're going to check in with you next week, how you're getting on, what you're doing to improve your mental health. So it's not just what happens in the sessions, it's like what you're doing in between, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
And they will hold you accountable, and it really is life-changing.
Yeah, because you sit down at the beginning of every every session with your therapist. You're both there. First thing they're going to say to you is, so how have you been? That's what they ask you every time at the beginning. You need to tell them, and obviously not every week you might not make progress, and that's fine, because like progress is not linear when it comes to like emotional and mental health. You know, you're gonna have ups and downs, but yeah, you've got that accountability partner, and like they might, like for me, like my therapist was suggested a book, so by the time I went back to my session next week, I'd read the bloody book. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm doing my homework. She's otherwise,
and if you
she's gonna be
would have felt like an idiot.
Yeah. Like, otherwise, what am I doing here? What am I paying you for?
Yeah.
So yeah, get yourselves down to therapy with BetterHelp, because they're amazing. But we're just going to round up the episode with a quote of the week, and we've got a fire one for you. Bit of tough love.
Yeah, we love a bit of tough love. So this is again out of James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. Would highly recommend it if you do want to start implementing new habits. So it says, professionals stick to the schedule, amateurs let life get in the way.
Ooh, it slap. Savage. I saw somebody that was reading the book put that page where he says that on their story, and it slapped me. Even from Instagram, it
through
slapped
the phone.
me. Like, I was like, Grace, you've been being an amateur a lot. You better change that up, honey. You need to be being a professional. And now that's what I was telling myself. Like, so yeah. And it's just about respecting your time as well, and like respecting like what you're doing, yeah, being a professional.
Yeah, who do you want to become? If you want to be a professional, act like a professional.
But we've got 2 books to recommend you, that after we've just given you all that motivation and information, if you want to go further and learn some more about like habit building and productivity, and just really good books that we love for helping you set goals and with motivation and everything, we really recommend obviously Atomic Habits by James Clear, which we've just mentioned, and we've mentioned it quite a lot in episodes because loads of people mention it, because it's like one of the main books that's just so good. But another book that's just recently come out that I've been reading is Working Hard or Hardly Working by Grace Beverly, and she is literally like, she's 23, she's got 2 huge businesses. She went to Oxford and studied like music or something whilst building these businesses, whilst launching these huge businesses alongside studying there. Like Oxford and Cambridge, like they expect you to do a lot of work. So if you're going to get productivity advice from anyone, she's the one to get it from. Yeah, the book's amazing. Like, it's really practical. They're both super practical books that give you so many things to take away. So yeah, if you want to continue your goal setting journey or productivity journey and want to stop procrastinating, get out of your own way, and yeah, you'll learn so much more in those books. So we will leave links to them in the show notes as well, so you can pick up a copy. But we've been loving them recently.
Yeah, definitely go and read those 2 books if you are interested in learning further. And if you enjoyed this episode, if you really felt the energy, because I feel like we're on a really good vibe today.
Yeah, we brought the energy today.
Yeah, or everything we've been doing, we're just feeling really good. We are being
Mr. Motivated today.
We are. But one thing we're very, very excited for is our next self-love workshop, which is on the 19th of September. It's going to be just like this, high energy, but all to do with self-love. And as well, we're probably going to really get you in the fields, because when it comes to self-love, we are going in hard. We're going to be talking about body positivity, relationships, manifesting, just everything self-love to really, really raise your vibe and have an amazing evening with all the other guests.
Yeah, self-love workshop is our most popular one, and it's definitely one of our favorites to host, because self-love is just the foundation that you need for everything in your life. Because even when it comes to goal setting, if you don't love yourself, you're not going to think you're worthy of achieving big goals. You're not even going to let yourself dream. Like self-love is essential, and like self-love is what's going to make you tough love yourself through your procrastination. Self-love is what drags your ass to therapy when you need to go and you don't want to, because you know that you love yourself and you're going to be better for it. Like self-love is essential when it comes to all the stuff we've been speaking about today. Like you have otherwise, like if you don't love yourself, don't value yourself and respect yourself, then you're not going to show up for yourself.
No.
So yeah, come to our workshop. It is live on Zoom, 6 till 8 p.m. on the 19th of September. But if you cannot join us live, do not worry, because we send out a replay. So wherever you are listening to this podcast right now, whatever country, you can just watch it back in your own time if like the time zone doesn't work. Or if you are in the UK and you're just busy on that day, then you can watch it on the replay. So we'll just send it out to you literally right after the event. But you can get your tickets on the website, findingyourfeetpodcast.com, and we have left the link to get that in the show notes. But if you want to keep in touch with us further, other than coming to our workshops, do come and follow us on Instagram at Find Your Feet Podcast. That's where we are every day of the week, other than just Wednesday on this podcast here. And make sure that you sign up to our newsletter. So you get our weekly newsletter every Monday morning. You want that motivation like we've given you today, you can get it every single week on a Monday morning, landing into your inbox. So all you need to do is just sign up through the mailing list link in the show notes as well. And if you want to watch our podcast, we do put them all on YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube right now. Like you can see our new podcast setup, all very cool. But if you want to subscribe on there, Find Your Feet Podcast is the channel name. Link is also in the show notes. But that's how you can keep in touch with us. And thank you so much for listening today. Really enjoyed this episode. Hope it really helped. If it did, share it on your story. Come and DM us. Let us know what you thought. Send it to a friend. Like everybody needs goal motivation, especially right now. Everyone's feeling the energy. September, like new goals. Everyone's, you've got 3 months left, 2021, to like make those New Year's resolutions happen. Like work with what you have right now. Just go for it. But yeah, share this episode around. Like send it to people who might, want to hear it.
Yeah. Don't forget, we're watching you. Our accountability partners.
Yes. We're keeping you accountable, watching you. But yeah, the podcast grows the best through word of mouth. So we really appreciate everybody who shares. And if you would like to leave us some feedback on Apple Podcasts, we'll read your review out at the beginning of the next episode. But that is all for now. We will see you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.